All right, everybody in from outside? Check that out real quick. We're going to get right back in it. We're going to start with Leviticus 18 chapter. Leviticus 18, verse 1.
Gosh. In the Hebrew, what do we write from right to left or left to right?
Right to left. Right to left. That's what I did, right? Sometimes brain and flex right something down, take out
Leviticus 18, verse 1. Leviticus 18 and 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am Yahweh your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, where I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. You shall do my judgments, and keep my ordinances, to walk therein. I am Yahweh your power.
Right, so he started out by letting us know, listen, man, don't be like the Canaanites. Don't be like the Egyptians. Be Hebrew Israelites. All right? Meaning that the Canaanites and the Egyptians had customs and they had dealings that was not good with the Most High. But he let them go ahead because they wasn't his chosen anyway. Right? But for you, Israel, you are supposed to be a holy people, okay? You can't be like them. You can't do like the Egyptians do. Okay? You can't have that when in Rome personality where because society is doing this, I got to do it too. Because everybody's doing it. All right? Forget about what everybody's doing. The Most High has called us to be set apart from these other nations and do his will. So right here, he let them know, you just left from the Egyptians. Don't be like them. We're going into the land of Canaan, and don't be like what you're going to see these Canaanites be doing. Because the Most High knows all of what the wickedness these nations be doing. But he ain't called them. He called Israel. All right, read.
None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin.
Right. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin. Meaning that what? What is this talking about? It's talking about in a sexual manner. Okay. You know, a lot of times, you know, in this society, there's a lot of we call them perverts, right? A lot of people take advantage of people. You know, one of the children are being molested. You know what I mean? That evil fornication, wicked spirit is out there. But it's not to be amongst Israel. And we have a high level moral, sexually moral society. Okay? We're very high level on our sexual morality in Israel. Okay? Where our sexual morality is above all these other nations that you see. In the kingdom you're now in, it's okay once once a young woman, she get what, 18, and she goes out and loses her virginity to whoever, right? But there's no husband there. There's no how could you say? There's no commitment there. And society looks at that as, oh well, she's 18 now, right? She can do what she want to do, or whatever the case may be. That's an abomination, cunt. A young man, when he reached 18, if he's still a virgin, his friends start clowning him, right? Say, man, you ain't seen nothing yet? Right? Well, is he married? Then he shouldn't have, right? Because these low-level moralities, sexual morality in this society, it infects us. But we know in the will of the Most High, we got to set those borders. We got to then bring our children up to say, listen, ain't about getting rid of your virginity like it's some sort of disease. You hold on to your virginity until you're married, huh? They don't even give that instruction in the churches no more. Right? They gave up. But we gonna keep the torch lit. That when a man lay with a woman, that's marriage is the inception or conception of marriage. That union is supposed to be last how long? Forever. Forever. It's a lifelong union. That's a high level sexual morality that's in amongst the children of Israel. Okay, when we start to operate on that level, then we can understand all the other levels with, our relationships and marriages, right? A lot of times we don't always pull out the fact that a man can have, more than one wife, and they run with this knowledge, but the rest of the sexual morality they don't pay attention to. They see that, they say, okay, I can roll with that, but what about the rest of it? Okay. What about everything that you're supposed to know and do? And move in that spirit first. Then you see where these things come into play. Right? In a society where people stick and move, as they say, right? It is what it is, right? They create this immoral, infestation of immorality that we now have to stomp out when we come to the word of the Most High. And it's a serious matter because what is a nation? A nation is a collection of what? Families. And families come about how? By what? Marriage. Okay, so marriage is the nucleus of the nation. Everybody see that? If the marriage don't happen, the family don't happen, therefore there's no nation. There's people. There ain't no nation. Because it's people who knows who's father, where you come from. All right? That's the condition that we're living in this Esau's wicked society. But we coming out of that. All right? So just like the scriptures say, don't be like the Canaanites, don't be like the Egyptians, also don't be like Esau. Don't be like Moab. Don't be like Ammon. Don't be like any of these kingdoms. Be the Hebrew Israelites. Don't be like black people, okay? And Negroes, right? Don't be like that. Be like a Hebrew Israelite. Everybody understand that? All right, so we're going to go into this chapter and read about this sexual immorality that was going on in Egypt and in Canaan.
Just to solidify what the minister just brought out, how do we know that the white man knows? What do you see him doing in society today that confirms what the minister just brought out about movements of the families and so forth? What do you see that they're doing, perpetrating in this community, in all the communities against our people? Take the man, and when you look at the jail systems, right, you would think that only blacks and Hispanics commit crimes, right? But as long as they have the man incarcerated, okay, when he's the one that he brings forth the family, now he's in there, he's some other man's girlfriend. You understand? And that stops the family from reproducing. So this is how we know that they know Okay, if you have the man and woman, they produce the family, they keep the family growing. If you got all these men locked up, how is the family going to be producing? So this is how they know, okay, how they break the households. And then now they have this, when what's his name just brought out, Trump, he said that they're going to do away with that welfare. Now they got to go work for it. So all these things are going to be cut out because that one, the woman's, well, I don't. In Leviticus 18 and 6.
Right.
None of you shall approach to you any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am Yahweh.
Right, come
The
on.
nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother, thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
Right.
The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover, it is thy father's nakedness.
Come on.
The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
Right, so you have a relation of a brother or sister, meaning that could be by your father or your mother, whether she's born at home or born abroad, you cannot uncover her nakedness. You cannot, and when it says uncover her nakedness, it's talking about, dealing with her, in a sexual manner. Okay, is what it's talking about. So your father, your mother, you hear stories of, people killing their father and marrying their father's wife, even though it's not their mother, it's still your father's nakedness. It's still considered, right, next of kin, as the scripture says. Blood connected, but it's still next of kin, right? Your father's wife, whether or not, is off limits, to you. Everybody understand that? Read on. 10.
The nakedness of thy son's daughters,
Right.
Yes, the nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
The grandchildren,
Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness.
Right.
The nakedness of thy father's wife, daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
Come on.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister, she is thy father's near kinswoman.
Right, that's what, who's that to you? Your auntie, right? Your aunt and your uncle is near kin unto you. Cannot uncover their nakedness. Read on.
Thou shalt uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife, she is thine aunt.
Right.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law, she is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
Right. So now that father's brother's wife. Now that's no blood connection with you, right, Con? But can you uncover her nakedness?
No.
Right. Scripture say no, because she is thy aunt. So she is next of kin. So the Most High is very specific. He went through this chapter, had to uncover all these. Why? Because this is what was going on with Canaan and with Egypt. Right? Men were killing men for their wives and all kind of madness. Right? Having affairs with who was that tried to get Joseph caught up? Right? Pharaoh's wife tried to get at Joseph. Right? He had to tear away from her so bad she ripped his garment. Right? So these things go down. Right? It happens in society today. It happened then. It happens today. We, the children of Israel, we make no excuse. We stay far away from any of this madness. Okay? Somebody got that spirit on them, you got to cut that spirit. Cut them quick. You know? Say, no, that's not right. That's wickedness. Right? Especially when you go up in small towns and things like that. These things take place. Right? But we, as Israelites, we not to move in that spirit. We have laws of sexual morality that is to be upheld so that you can build families and there's no confusion. Because all these will cause confusion in the family. You understand that? Right? If be your aunt, was your aunt, now is your wife, but that's madness. Okay. Read on.
And you seen them on Jerry Springer.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Mary and I, we're sister and brother, but we're in love. It's against Torah.
Well, he's my half sister. But that makes it all better. That's still wicked. All right.
I mean, there's been times that that they were found out later on that they were related or they were brother and sister, and they decided some story that they still remain together. I think somebody had there was a story that somebody put on their WhatsApp. The mother and daughter. The mother said she waited till the daughter became of age, and now they're lovers. You understand? So this is the type of she was a so-called black woman and her daughter. So the daughter's her mother and her lover. I don't know. So there's a lot of stuff that's out here in society.
Twisted.
Yeah. Like she made it seem even better. She said she waited till she was of age. Like that made it, that made it okay.
Yeah, it's a twisted society. I mean, a lot of moralities they got to deal with, a lot of behaviors, that we have to stand up and say this is wickedness. Somebody got to say it, man, because they try to make things and give explanations and try to give scenarios where this could possibly happen. No, it can't possibly happen. Okay, it's unacceptable by the Most High. It's unacceptable by the people that fear the Most High. All right.
16. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, but they are her near kinswomen.
Right.
It is wickedness.
So you cannot be with a woman and her daughter. Okay? Or even her daughter's daughter, grandchild. Right? If you with the mother, the daughter's off limits. Okay? Everybody understand that? Can't do that. Okay? Can't marry the daughter and the mother and all that confusion. You got daughters and mothers that's, 15 years apart. They start looking at if a man is 10 years older than one of them, he's damn near the age of the other one. You know what I mean? So these things happen, in other words. But we know if you use the morality of the scripture, it will not be tolerated. Okay? You can't do that. Back in the days, if you was a man and you said, yeah, I had the mother and I had the daughter, people looking at you like you the man. Right? No, you wicked as hell, man. You can't do that. Okay? You can't do that. Read on.
Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister
Right?
to vex her,
Right?
to uncover her nakedness beside the other in her lifetime.
Right. Don't take a wife to her sister. What does that mean, take it to her sister? Why is it written this way? What is it saying? Is it impossible for you to be with sisters? Could your wives, if you have more than one wife, could they be sisters? Con, I have a mixture. If a man had two wives, could they be sisters? All right, con. All right, so what is it saying here? Don't what?
They don't have them on the same bed.
They have
The same bed or the same house, right? The same dwelling place. That's what it's saying. How do we know that? Through history. Leah and Rachel, right? They had what? Separate dwelling places. Okay? So we know that this scripture has showed itself in history. That we understood these laws. So we're not to do that. Everybody understand that? Now we're not telling you to go get sisters either. All right? We're saying that, listen, concentrate on marriage first. Understanding marriage, being with one woman before you even venture out into anything more. Everybody understand that? We don't.
Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she is put apart for uncleanness.
Right. You cannot lay with your woman if she's on her cycle. Right? Exactly. You don't see no songs about it either. Right? You can't do it. It's wickedness. Okay? That time of the year, the time of the month, I mean, she's to be set apart. Right? No intercourse, no interaction of that sort of kind. Okay? Right? That you set apart from her in that way during that time. It's a week. Right? 7 days. Take the 7 days off. Right? All right. Read on.
Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her.
What is that talking about? Adultery. Don't lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife. Meaning that you sneaking in when he's going to work, you sneaking next door. There's a whole lot of that going on in Israel. Okay? Amongst our people. That's wickedness. Okay? Don't make no excuse. Well, he got 3 wives anyway. I don't got none. So he wouldn't mind if I sneak over there. That's wickedness. You know, a woman has a man, you leave the woman alone. Everybody understand that? If you talk to a woman, you ask if she has a man, or a husband, or a man, and she says, yeah, I got somebody, leave her alone. Well, it's complicated, leave her alone. Somebody's there. Okay? But I want to admit what's there, but somebody's there. Okay? Step away, step away. All right? So you're not caught up in breaking these laws. Because, women won't want to admit sometimes. I mean, that, they may have a relationship with somebody that they're not committed to or whatever the case may be. You can't get involved in that situation. All right? All right, Akim? It's more dealing with the brothers approaching the woman. This law, this particular law right here. All right, read on.
21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire of Molech.
Right.
Neither shalt thou profane the name of Yahweh on Yahweh thy power.
Right. So you don't want to have your seed. Now you're gonna get with a woman. She get pregnant. You don't have no commitment or union with this woman, and then your child now is. Not just celebrating Christmas, man, leading the parade, right? Because you have no unity with that woman. You're making your seed pass through the fire of Molech. I mean, you lay the seed with a woman, you have no control over this woman or what this child gonna be doing. Child is out there. You hear me? So we don't want those. We suffered all this already. You know what I mean? We suffered this already. We got to learn that we got not to continue in the same madness. Okay? Read on.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind.
Right?
It is an abomination.
Right. What is that talking about? Homosexuality. Men and men together. It's an abomination. Okay. I'm not going too far into that.
Neither shall thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion.
It is confusion. What is it talking about? Bestiality. They got a thing called pets in this kingdom. People have pets. And sometimes they get too close to these pets. Okay? That's wickedness, man. All right? Not to do anything in any sexual manner to a beast, man.
Well, you got Esau to my the dog is a man's best friend. Pretty sure he's doing all kind of stuff with that dog.
Poor dog. Right?
Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you.
Wait a second. Say that. Read that verse again.
Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these things.
In what these things?
In all these things.
In everything that we just read. Read on.
For in all these things the nations
outside of Israel, read on,
are defiled,
read,
which I cast out before.
They do all that madness. They do all of it. Trying to be exotic. Trying to have an adventure or something. I don't know what they think there's going to be.
Eccentric.
It'd be eccentric. All right? No, man. No need to be eccentric, no need to be exotic. Right? Scripture say Jacob was a plain man. Right? Dwelling in tents. Be plain. Right? Be regular. There's nothing wrong with that. Have a wife. That's it, man. Right? All that extra curricular activities, don't get involved in those. All right? Esau opens up his Pandora's box of wickedness through his pornography industry. That's where a lot of jakes find out all this madness. They wouldn't even have the imagination to do half the madness that they do if it wasn't for the pornography industry. Okay? And they paint all these pictures and they try to make it out to be something sought after. Right? Pornography comes from the root word porneus. Porneus is a Greek word that means fornication. We are not to indulge ourselves in fornication, come? Therefore, we should not indulge in pornography, come? Right. Put all those spirits away because it causes more and more levels of wickedness. Okay. Read on.
And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it. And the land itself vomit out her inhabitants.
Right.
You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations.
Right.
Neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you.
Right. You shouldn't even allow a stranger among you to get down with this type of madness. You are the nations that's among you. We want that type of behavior far from our borders. Okay, read on.
For all these abominations have the men of the land done,
right,
which were before you, and the land is defiled. That the land spew not you out also, when you defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you.
Right.
For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people.
Right.
Therefore shall ye keep my ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am Yahweh your power.
Right. Do not defile yourself therein. I am Yahweh your power. Don't commit any of these things, because the other nations do these things on a regular. Give me 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. and the 15th verse.
1 Corinthians 6 and 15. 1 Corinthians 6 verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of a Mashiach Yahushua?
Your bodies are the member of a Mashiach Yahushua. Therefore, you shouldn't be doing nothing with your body that's unlawful and wicked. Everybody understand that? Read on.
Shall I then take the members of Yahushua and make them the members of an harlot?
Right. So you take the member of your Yahushua and join to a harlot? What's a harlot? A whore. Right? What's a whore do? Sleep with multiple men? Is that what a whore does? Mm-hmm.
Sleep with multiple men, she's not married.
Right, she sleeps with no commission. No commission. No commitment. Right? No commission. Well, I tell you, the things that come out of my mouth. All right, she would lay with a man and there's no commitment. She got a friend. If you got a friend, guess what you are? Right? You're all. You have to understand that. Either you're a wife, you can't be a jump off, you can't be all these things that they say in this society. You either got to be a wife or you're single. That's the two things you can be. With or without somebody, not just, oh, I got a friend. What she's letting you know is that, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't got it together. All right? I'm wicked as hell. I need to repent. Okay? Read.
Most High forbid. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
Right.
For two, said he, shall be one flesh.
Right.
But he that is joined unto the Mashiach is one spirit.
Right.
Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body.
Mm-hmm.
But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body.
You're doing it to yourself, man. You're self-afflicting sin upon yourself because you want to be fornicating. Unlawful sexual acts is fornication. You can't have a friend. You can't have these things. Okay? If it's so bad, get a husband or get a wife. Okay? Read on.
What? Know ye not that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own? For ye are bought with a price.
Right. You're not your own. Well, this is my body. I can do what I want. No, it's not. You are not your own. You've been bought with a price. Yahushua died that you may have life. So your life belongs to him. Okay? So it's not your own body. You can do what you want. Read on.
Therefore, glorify the Most High in your body,
right,
and in your spirit,
come on,
which are the Most High.
Which belong to the Most High. Psalms 100 verse 3. Which belongs to the Most High. Okay? So we know, when whatever actions or we take it with our bodies, it better be according to what the Father says good. Or else we're putting ourselves in harm's way. We're putting ourselves in the way of the judgment. Read that.
Psalms 100 verse 3.
Come on.
Know ye that the Most High is your power?
Right.
It is he that have made us,
right,
and not we ourselves.
Sometimes we walk around like we made ourselves. We don't got to answer to nobody. Right? That's the stuff that these like you brought up, these homosexuals be kicking that spirit. Well, this is my body. I can do what I want to do with my body. What do you mean your body? You created yourself. The Most High sought to bring you into this earth. He's the one that you bless for having life. Okay? He gets the credit by us dedicating ourselves to what he says is right. That's the only way to show it to him. Okay? Let's go back.
We are his people
Uh-huh.
and the sheep of his pasture.
That's right. We're his people and the sheep of his pasture. Meaning that he runs us. He runs things, as they say.
Leviticus 18, verse 29.
Come on.
For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people.
That's right.
Therefore shall ye keep my ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am Yahweh, your power.
Hallelujah. All right, so we know we're going to hold ourselves to a high sexual morality. Con? All right, there's a time, place for everything. So let's make sure we're doing things in the right time, the right place, and, to bring forth righteousness, to bring forth, what's supposed to come out of it, which is family. Con? Read on.
Leviticus 19 and 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the congregation of children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I am Yahweh, your power, am holy.
Right.
Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbath. I am Yahweh, your power.
Right. So what? As men and women, we are to fear our parents, respect them. When they say something, we listen. We shouldn't be beefing and arguing with your parent. That's your parent. They brought you in this earth. Okay? That's something that got to resonate in your spirit. And you know what? This is my parent. Okay? So we're not to be strifeful with our parents. We don't.
Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods, for I am Yahweh, your power.
Right. So what? Turn ye not unto idols. Don't believe in false gods of these nations. Don't believe in the philosophies of man, but believe in the Most High God. Don't believe in karma. I hear people say, well, that's karma. Who the hell is karma? Right? What language is that? Anybody know what language that is? Karma? Right? People say things that they don't realize what they're saying. Karma is another God. The scriptures say you reap what you sow. That's evident. That's what it is you reaping what you sow. That's what the scriptures say. Right? We don't believe in no karma. We don't believe in no luck. Luck is for leprechauns. Right? Everybody's, I don't see no leprechauns up in here. We don't need luck. We need blessings. We need the Most High to bless it so that it can be. All right? We don't.
And if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Most High, ye shall offer it at your own will.
Right.
It shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow, and if it ought remain until the third day, it shall be burnt in the fire. And if it be eaten at all on the third day, it is abominable.
Right.
It is abominable. It shall not be accepted.
Come on.
Therefore, everyone that eateth it shall bear his iniquity, because he hath profaned the hallowed thing of the Most High, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. And when he reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleans of thy harvest.
All right, so let's look at all this. He said, listen, when it came to the sacrifice thing, you had 2 days to eat it, right? On that third day, you gotta get rid of it. Okay? You had it too long. It's not acceptable anymore. All right? So you gotta have this stuff for 3 days. Now I know today's society, we got refrigerators and we got this and we got meats and we might have it for I don't know how long. Pull it out and be like, damn, I didn't know this was in here. Put that joint in the microwave, you eat it one time. That's not good practice, man. Okay, let's try to be mindful of that. All right, don't eat rotten food, man. All right, it's unlawful. Okay, or spoiled food, or whatever I should say. Peace offering was offering that was brought that the priest and they would eat it. They would burn it on the altar. They would eat it. So. What was the peace offering? That was the bullock. I think it was the bullock. Yeah, a couple of I know we went into that. It was like 3 weeks ago. We went into the different offerings: sin offering, trespass offering. All right, peace offering. He said, "What's a peace?" Right here, I got it. Leviticus, the 3rd chapter, peace offering. Right, and it shall be a oblation to be sacrificed. And you shall offer it of the herd, whether it be male or female. You shall offer it without blemish unto the Most High. So, male or female of the herd is a peace offering.
There's also one of the flock that said,
Of the flock, and where?
and starting verse 6.
Right. So a peace offering, just an offering brought in of a meat offering brought in to the congregation. The priest could not eat it 3 days later. They'd have to eat it that day or the next day, or by the 3rd day they gotta get rid of it. Right? And it's showing us through that instance, it's showing us what was wrong with it on the 3rd day from the 1st day. What's the difference? That it's been sitting for these days. You know what I mean? So the Most High doesn't really want to eat food that's spoiling. Right? We eat food when it's fresh or maybe the next day, but if it's spoiling, leave it alone. Right? Get rid of it. Don't make it a habit. You know what I mean? Just if something is beginning to spoil, get rid of it. Right? Don't eat it. And it's the best we can get out of that verse for how we live today. All right? But in those days, they couldn't touch it, or else they'd be cut off. Let's go back to Leviticus 19.
Leviticus 19:9. And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. And thou shalt not glean the vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Mm-hmm. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger.
For the who?
The poor and stranger.
Right, so don't glean your yard. Now, we don't farm today, but what is that example of? Your income. What is it saying about your income? Don't spend every dime. Like when you do your budget, right? We all gotta live on a budget, right? So you got 1,000 coming in. And when you line up your things, right? And you put how much you paying. I know sometimes it's like 2,000 got to come out 1,000. But after you then get back with reality and you look at it again, right? You should be leaving something there, right? Just in case somebody needs something. Just in case you have an opportunity to do some charity. Or, if you want to put something in the box, right? But that should be in your list. The box should be in your list. Live design should be in the list. So this extra money here is the money that you hold on to just in case you come across someone that needs something. But you got $1, I need to get on the bus, or I ain't got nothing. Because every dime you done allocated, every penny that you come out to your pocket, you can't do that. Okay? Leave the gleanings. Come? Read on.
Ye shall not steal, neither shall deal falsely, neither lie one to another. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of Yahweh thy power, I am Yahweh. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning.
Right. What does that mean? Somebody do some work for you? Pay him.
That's right.
And if you can't pay them today, let them know when you could pay them. And when you tell them, listen, I can pay you on Thursday, let that person make that decision. And when Thursday come around, don't come with a whole bunch of excuses. You have the money, pay him. Don't have the money, you holding on to it. Oh, by now, I ain't giving nothing yet. Let me see, let me make sure he come back to work. Now, you could have paid the man, but you ain't paying the man because you worried about what he going to do with the money. No. They do the work, pay the person. This is amongst Israel. Now you deal with these other nations, and you want to hold back their bread, hold it back as long as you can pay. I don't care about that, right? But you can't trust them. You might pay them and they bounce, right? And never finish the job. But with your people, pay them. Okay?
Remember what I was saying, that everything the Most High said of Esau does opposite.
Right.
I think some states they get paid by the month.
Once a month.
Once a month. And there was one state that I think they found like bankrupt, they wasn't getting no check. What was that? Detroit or one of these places, huh? Detroit, right? They didn't get paid for months. Okay, but Esau, you know, we look at our small paycheck, but think about a multi-million-billion-dollar company that holds on to all these checks for bi-weekly. You know how much interest they're gaining. Okay, you look at it as 2 weeks, but if you put collectively all these checks together, all this money together, the money that they're making off of your money,
Right.
just like the IRS.
Right.
Okay, the IRS, and a lot of people thinking of tax time, you're getting your money back. I mean, the people I work with in finance, they don't pay taxes. They take their money, they invest in the stock market, they do other things, and then they pay their tax at the end of the year.
Right.
But they making,
and they pay as least as possible.
you understand? Because they know all the tax deduction, they know what to claim, they know what they're entitled to. And a lot of them don't even end up paying anything because they file all these deductions.
Yeah.
You understand? So and I hear other people talking about, oh, I'm gonna have a child so I can file. Like, you know how much money you spend through the year just to get a tax deduction for earned income credit? I mean, the mentality about people.
A couple, let's say a wife and a husband and 2 children, $60,000 not even enough.
Right.
$60,000. Imagine how much some of us make a year.
Right. They come out with those numbers. It cracks you up, and they're like, man, we below poverty. They put the poverty line. We try to reach that line. Right. But yeah, we still make it through, man. You know what I mean? We still strive. We still do things. We still get it. We still well. But we below poverty. And we were talking about middle class was 200,000. A house that made 200,000 was middle class. 250,000 or something like that. Yeah, 250, right? Yeah, 250,000 is middle class. All right. So just when you thought you was middle class, right? Yeah, you got no class. But the reality of it, we don't even imagine. Esau can't imagine to live off. So some people can't imagine to live off what we live off. You know what I mean? And strive and do well, right? You know what I mean? Not like we ain't hurting, we eat. We ain't missing no meals, right?
But a lot of times that Esau be bring out these stats on TV, he's not referring to Israel. He's talking about the white race, but our people always think that it's including them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Illusion of inclusion.
I saw them in the Broward school, and I see like these children, they don't listen, but as soon as they put on the Pledge of Allegiance, these children jump up, like at attention, and recite this thing from beginning. And one day I asked if anybody know the Lord's Prayer, right? I'm like, what girl said, we don't do that in here. But they know the Pledge of Allegiance from the beginning to the end. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these children, they are diagnosed with that ADHD, like they're all on medication. Like one child I had him stand in a corner. I'm like, I don't even know why he came to school. But I put him in a corner, he's still in the corner dancing, pop locking, jumping up. And I'm like, one other child, right? He came in, he had like 5 pencils in his book bag. He took them out, put the erasers off and throwing them around the class. I'm looking at him give out the assignment, and he's not doing the assignment. Not paying attention. So then he saw me, right? He's like, you just coming from church? I'm like, I thought about it after, because I wear my suits and all. He's like, oh, because I got a suit on, right? But then I said to him, listen, who's coming to pick you up later? He's like, oh, I walk home, right? I was like, okay. So then I'm standing outside watching students go out. So I see a car pull up. So he goes to the car. I said, are you his father? So his father got grills and everything, and his man on the other side looked like he was just smoking a blunt. Right. So I'm like, I said, are you his dad? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, I said, listen, he's uncooperative, he's disruptive. And he looked at him, why are you doing that? But I can see
I can see why
he's
you're
a
doing
reflection.
that. I can see why you're doing that.
And the boy, he had a black eye. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I don't know. Since I started this teaching, I look at the children at a different light. But I mean, these children are really going through a lot in their household with their parents, and they are a reflection of their parents. And it's sad. Like some of these children, like in the 3rd grade, can't even read. You understand the things that in our schools there. And I talked to the brother of the bar, Michael Allah's wife, all these people that are teach or are part of these schools, they all complain about the same thing. All our schools are in disarray.
That's right.
Okay, they're in disarray.
Disarray.
They're not learning anything. These children, they're out of control.
Out of control.
You understand? One little girl came to school. She had purple and pink weaving her hair, coming down her back. You know, she was in 2nd grade. You know, I'm like, the thing that goes on in these schools is unbelievable. You know, but we have to, you know, I asked the vice principal, whatever she was, I was like, do they have like a town hall meeting? Because I don't want to address some of these parents, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, it's...
They ain't coming.
Make sure you ain't coming. They gonna make sure.
But I'm like, you know, because it's true. It takes a village to raise a child. But a lot of times too, you don't know how to address or deal with a child because you don't know what type of supervision, what type of thing is being done in the house. The parents may allow them to do stuff like that in the house. You understand? So you tell them no, and they allow doing the house is a whole different thing. But this is out of control. But all our school systems they're all messed up. You know. So I don't know, man. Like it's good to say, if the Most High don't come and rescue us,
No flesh to save.
we say no flesh shall be saved.
Is there an example of like an Israelite school system somewhere?
Not that I know of. Well, in Dimona, in Israel, you know, they have a school set up. Their curriculum is taught. They teach Amalek their curriculum. So that's the only model that I know of Israelite that's being recognized and being taught. I mean, there might be some other communities. I'm not sure. I mean, I know when Yahweh Ben Yahweh was in Miami, they had that whole community. You know, they had that going on. You know, when Yahweh Ben Yahweh, they actually gave Yahweh Ben Yahweh the key to Miami at the particular time. So he was very instrumental. A lot of the Israelites that you might see that are locked up in jail in Florida, they under Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You know, a lot of guys, because we met when we used to go teach in Daytona, because a lot of those guys that with Yahweh Ben Yahweh were actually killing. Some of them guys went to jail for murder because when Yahweh Ben Yahweh took over Miami, they were killing drug dealers and everything. They were putting cats to death. They took over that whole community. There was a part where because the minister and I, we were dealing with an alternative program where we were actually part of a program that they offered to young teens, whatever, that they take this curriculum instead of going to youth jail, juvenile correction. But what happened? We got kicked out because some child went back and told their parents that we teaching the Bible, so they discontinued us. But I mean, again, that's the foolishness. Yes, sir.
Is it a law that prevents you from homeschooling your children?
No, there's no law. You can do it, but you gotta meet the requirements because each state has particular requirements that you gotta meet. Some states will actually fund you to homeschool.
Are you trying to get the injection?
Some states is mandatory. Some states are still battling that. I actually have letters that I give out here that will disallow you from getting immune. But some states are pushing where it's mandatory. But I mean, all that stuff is going through courts and stuff like that. But you can fight it. I mean, I have given a letter to some parents that were able to utilize it, and the Most High blessed them with it. So we have letters for the Sabbath here, for your beard. I mean, I had a brother that was here that he worked in Publix in the food department, and he was able to grow his beard. He just had to wear one of those nets on his beard. Okay, so there shouldn't be anyone saying I'm forced to cut my beard, I'm forced to wear pants as a woman, I'm forced to work on the Sabbath. You're doing these things on your own. Okay, the Most High always makes a way for those that want to keep His commandments. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, all these things are going through court proceedings because actually there was a Jake. I don't know if you heard. There was a Jake that came out. He worked for the disease control center in Atlanta, and he came out and brought up the information how those people that they were the immunization for flu shots, how all of them end up dying, and this guy ended up disappearing. Okay, the next day after he brought the report out, nobody could find this guy. Okay, so all this stuff, all these immunization they're giving you, they inject you with these diseases, and the Tuskegee experiment, all these things that they're giving, a lot of these brothers and sisters that are locked up in these jail systems, the prison system, because there was a brother that I visit in Jersey all the time. He said he almost died a couple of times being locked up. He's been over 20-some years. And why do you think they send these people all the way to these faraway jails? Nobody knows. Your family won't visit you. They can be doing all type of experiments on you. And that's what Esau does. He experiments on these inmates. They inject you. They don't know what you've been injected with. Okay, but again, the thing with the immunization, it's all going through court proceedings. But again, as Israelites, they feel like we don't have a say so. But the white man, they can't pull that with them because why? They have attorneys. Okay, example being, look what they did to Bill Cosby. Not to justify what he did, but Weinstein, there was over 100 women that came forth for him, and they said they still trying to determine if they should bring up charges. So showing you that they have a law for their people and there's a different law for Israel. Okay, it should be that if you're not wanting to inject your child with these things, you can take the risk or responsibility. It'd be up to you, like something like sign a waiver or something like that. You know, I know there's some nurses that's in the hospital, whatever, they wear a mask because some of the nurses are required to take immunization. Yeah. Okay, so now that's another court thing that's going on too. Okay, so there's I know there's some companies that if you don't take the shot, they won't hire you. So it's a lot of things going on, but you just have to know the law because there's always some type of court proceeding that you can relate back to bring against it. So you have to know the law. But it's not every state. You got to know the law in that particular state that you're in.
And I'd say for the time being, voluntary immunizations, stay away from the voluntary ones. Right. You know what I mean? Like the flu shot, that's voluntary. Okay, why they force you to get a flu shot? Certain work industries, like where I work, they say they try to volunteer you to take hepatitis and all that stuff. Listen, they ain't putting that stuff in my body. You know what I mean? But those things is voluntary. They can't force you. They will, they urge you, but they can't force you. There's certain things like immunization when a child is born that is the repercussions that you're going to go through are heavy if you don't immunize your child. At least in Florida, because when they had to go to school, it's a problem. When they had to do this, it's a problem. Everything they do, they want to see that yellow and blue, right? They ask you for that yellow and blue, right? Every time you take them everywhere, if you can't produce that, you're going to run into a lot of issues, all right? So you got to be totally aware of what you're talking before you say you're not. Understand what you're getting into, all right? Pray to the Most High cover you, cover your child, and nothing happens to them. You know what I mean? Because these things, those TB shots and stuff like that, you don't want your child to actually get tuberculosis. You know what I mean? Because that's a very rough disease to come out of. All right, if you can even come out of it, Quar.
I remember, for a while, I didn't get any shots, and then this one teacher caught me slipping.
She had asked me, and I was like, no. And then that's when I had to go get it, like in my arms. But I think that was like 7th grade.
Mhm.
So from like elementary to like 7th.
Well, you got it when you were a child, when you were a
Yeah,
baby.
when I
We're
was
talking
like
about
a
the
baby,
baby.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in there,
Right.
because
It's
I
in
never
there.
got a shot. And
Once you get it once, it's in there.
They don't let you
They
go
try to
college.
give you, try to give it to you again. Rocky. Right. Mhm. Right. That's what I'm saying. Before you go into something, know all the ins and outs. You know, understand, what I get locked up for this. What's going to be the repercussions? And then you got to make a determination if you already put up that fight. Is there a way? Do you have the papers filed that needs to be filed in order to not do this thing? If you don't, then I don't suggest you halfway go into something and then messing yourself up even more. All right, so the Most High covers our children, covers us. The food that we eat out, we eat things, we don't know what's in that food. You know what I mean? And some of this immunization, of course, immunization is just a part of that disease being put into your body, and then your body makes the antibodies for that disease because they know you're gonna get in contact with that disease in the midst of his society, because the society is very filthy. You know what I mean? And a lot of you go to these restaurants, these water that they use it, everything is filthy. Filters don't get changed, all kind of stuff is going on, right? So we understand that, right? So we just saying mainly use wisdom. The ones that are voluntary, let them keep that. No Zika shots, no flu shots, all that madness. You know what I mean? As soon as they come up with something new, H1N1, and they got everybody running out there to get a shot, you don't run down there and get no shot. Don't get involved with that. All right? The little immunization they give you when you're born, pay the Most High, take care of your child, cover your children, right? And we move forward. Because we all have it in us. We had it done. You know what I mean? So, and then when they go to college, they come at them again, right? When you go to the university, they come at you again with some.
That's what I find crazy. It's like the thing still my body's a baby.
Yeah, but what you gotta understand is this, right? The stuff that they're putting in our food, if they were not giving stuff in our food, we would be okay. But they give it a shot claiming that they're protecting you, but it's all about money because they know actually the stuff they put in our food is gonna cause us to get to that point.
Exactly.
Okay, but they're not gonna come out and tell you we're giving you poison food. They're not gonna tell you we got mad cow disease and all this other stuff. But when we hear stories, we gotta know the complete story of these things. Because somebody mentioned about a story, whatever. But you can't, if you're like the minister talking about going sovereign on certain things, you can't be like halfway in the system and halfway out. Okay, because when you're doing certain things in the society, like we talk about Tadadaka, he had a 501c3, but he was not doing all the requirements under that 501c3. You understand? So you can't want to dabble in Esau's kingdom and not do it the way he said it. You understand? From the beginning to the end, because they got repercussions. Okay, so we put our trust in the Most High. I know that there are people out there that's not immunizing their children. Everybody's not doing it, but they're doing things accordingly. They are knowledgeable of the law, so they can't be prosecuted. But you just can't be doing something nonchalantly in Esau's system, because when Esau does something, he does it with 150% knowledge. Okay. So when you're doing stuff in Esau's kingdom, make sure you're knowledgeable of what you're doing. Right. Like these people that do like taxis that come around You try to be cheap, so you buy a turbo, a program for $20 because you don't want to pay.
TurboTax.
Right, you don't want to pay an accountant, and you do it yourself, and then
Jack
you end up getting
yourself up.
audited.
I'm
Okay,
locked up.
right. So you can't.
What you doing?
Esau doesn't care about, oh, I made a mistake, or I didn't know. I remember one time a brother stayed with me in New York from Jamaica, and he came up, he was riding his bicycle on the sidewalk, okay, in Brooklyn. Those brothers are. So the cop pulled him over and gave him a ticket. He said, I just came from Jamaica last week. The cop told him, said, listen, ignorance of the law is no excuse. He gave him a ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, so Esau don't care if you don't know the law, if you fresh from yard, if you just got the boat, or not, they don't care about none of that stuff. So you got to make sure when you deal with certain things in this society that you know what you're doing. Okay, because Esau will be looking to prosecute you or make you pay. They love penalties, they love jail time, they love all these things. But when it comes time for them, okay, they're gonna have all these excuses.
There you go.
That's why right now, for years, okay, God didn't love everybody. He was Christ was white. Now all of a sudden, John 3. Now everybody knows John 3:16. Where was John 3:16 during slavery?
You know? Where was it then?
Okay, where was John 3:16? Why everybody wasn't talking about John 3:16 when we were slaves? Now they want to talk about it because why? The Most High is about to reverse.
You know, Jim Crow laws were prevalent in the so-called Bible Belt.
Right.
How you have Jim Crow laws and you're in the Bible Belt? Well, you're supposed to be knowing this Bible to and fro. You know, talking all this Bible talk. But meanwhile, you got all these laws to oppress these people. Lynching. And all the 100 years of lynching. Right? There's a book called 100 Years of Lynching, which shows the 100 years that we were lynched right here through these streets, man. Right? To show what? It's hypocrisy.
Plantation, Florida.
That's it.
Okay.
It's
A
hypocrisy.
whole plantation.
One of the biggest cities down here. One of the richest cities down here. Plantation. Wait, that's 100 years of lynching? Right. Right. This book here shows, 100 years of lynching, how we were lynched. Right here. The towns that we call home today, our hometowns. We were being lynched and dragged through the streets and murdered and castrated and everything else under the sun. Okay, we got to be aware of that. So we know Esau law, it don't stand. His law changes, it moves how he want to move it. He manipulates people with the law. All right. All right, we read on.
Leviticus 19, verse 14. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shalt fear thy power, I am Yahweh. You shall not do unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty.
Right.
For in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
So when we're making a judgment, it can't be who this person is. It's about what the person did. Okay? That's how judgment is dealt with. It depends on what the person did, what the person's been doing. Okay? Right? It might be a track record taken into account, because when you go to jail, they pull up your rap sheet. So if you're a first-time offender, it's different if you're a first time than a third time. Everybody understand that?
No, I've seen some
Right.
Jake first time.
Yeah, but it's supposed to make a difference. But now you are like they had a 10-20 life, right? A lot of people went up the road for a long time because of that law, right? Because that's your third offense, and you finished now. Rockefeller laws, right? So those laws. So the understanding is what? Whether you rich or poor, you do what's wrong in the sight of the Most High, you're gonna be judged the same way.
There was one story. Was that there was a Jake? Oh no, was that the same when I murdered the 9 people? There was a Jake that he was younger. Him and 2 other guys. They tried to rob a store, and I think was it the store owner killed one of the boys that tried to rob the store. So they ended up charging him in this particular state. If you do a crime and someone gets killed, they charge him for the murder. The store owner killed one of the youths, but he ended up, I think him and the other guy ended up catching a murder charge. So, like I said, each of these states in the United States, they all have some different different laws. You try to jump to one law and one state do something you might think is okay in this state, goes to other state, they're not having it over there. So, that's why, we got to exit out of this place. Ultimately, that's the main goal.
Continue.
16, thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand before the blood of thy neighbor. I am Yahweh.
Right, stand against the blood of thy neighbor. So what does that mean? Being a false witness. All right, don't be a false witness and don't be a talebearer. Meaning that what? Gossiping. All right, usually that goes hand in hand. False witness is quick to gossip, because they just fill in the blanks with make the story more sensational than it actually was. Right? That's what they do, because they get enjoyment out of that, talking about people.
Sensationalized.
That's it. So the scripture says if you cannot do without offense, speak not of other men's lives. All right, let's read on.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Right, when someone's correcting you, that's love. If somebody letting you know you've done wrong, that's love. That's not hate. That's not putting you down. That's showing you love, because they could have left you in your sin and don't tell you nothing. Then what? Then you'll be subject to continuing to offend the Most High God. But if that brother pull you, that sister pull you aside and say, listen, what you did there is wrong. According to this law, according to the commandment, that's a beautiful thing. Right? We got to embrace correction. Come on. Read on.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh.
Right. So we got to choose one another. Okay. We got to choose one another. Don't bear any grudges. Right. Be there for your brother. This is all laws dealing with, coming together. Zephaniah 2 verse 1, gather yourselves together. This is how we got to gather together, with these laws being the laws prevalent amongst us. All right, we don't.
You shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingle of linen and woolen come upon thee.
Right, so what? We ain't supposed to mix seed. All right, Esau do that. He take a tiger and a lion and tell me, you got a ligress. Right? Or a liger. I don't know what he called it. I think a liger, yeah. Whatever the case may be, that's off. That's wickedness. Making mules, right? That's wickedness. All right. Scripture say don't do it. Like you said, you're gonna do everything opposite. Scripture say don't do it. That's exactly what you're gonna try to do. Okay. So we're not to do that. Your fabric mixed with woolen and linen at the same time in the fabric, that's not good. That's not right. Okay. Either wool or it's linen. Can't be both. Okay, that's mixed fabrics. We're trying to stay away from mixed fabrics. I know today's we buy clothes, you can't always have control over it, but if you're going to buy fabric to make something, make sure it's 100% what it is. Huh? Read on.
And whosoever lieth commonly with a woman,
right,
that is a bondmaid, betrothed to an husband,
come on,
and not at all redeemed, nor freedom given her,
come on,
she shall be scourged. They shall not be put to death because she was not free.
Right, so she a bondwoman, but she was what? She was betrothed, but she didn't lie with him. This is not adultery, but it is because she was a bondwoman, because she was a servant woman, there would be a scourge, meaning they'd be punished, okay, for this thing. But she won't be put to death because she was not a free woman. If she was a free woman, she would put to death for that. You know? And he would also.
And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Most High, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, even a ram for a trespass offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before Yahweh, for his sin which he hath done. And the sin which he hath done shall be forgiven him.
Right.
And when ye shall come into the land, and shall have planted all manner of trees for food, then ye shall count the fruit thereof as uncircumcised.
Right.
3 years shall it be as uncircumcised unto you. It shall not be eaten of. But in the 4th year, all the fruit thereof shall be holy. to praise Yahweh withal.
So why do you think they did that? What are they trying to do? Huh? Look at that what? For the future, right? They had to let the earth go through a purging process. Because things are what? Contaminated. These nations do all kind of wickedness. Let the contamination come out. Let the food fall. Let it rise again. Fall. Let it rise again. Now, in that third year, now it's yielding its. Times. What does that mean? Name one way how people use enchantment and observe times. Today, what do? Horoscopes, right? And tarot card reading and Ouija boards and all that, psychic network, right? That's how they observe times and use enchantments, right? We're not to do so. Mediums, celebrity mediums. They watch shows about it, right? No. Read that last verse again. Thou shalt not what?
Ye shall not round the corners of your heads,
Right?
neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard.
Right?
You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead,
Right?
nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh.
I said, what? We're not supposed to what? Cut all our hair off. He said, round the corner of thy head. Now, in time, the Egyptians had a style where they would cut all the hair off, they'd ball their hair, and they would leave one patch here. And they would grow one braid out that one patch. That's what's called rounding the head, right? But the understanding is we're not supposed to round the head either, right? We're not supposed to have ball fades, right? They call it a ball fade. You cut all the hair off around and then you fade it in. We're not supposed to do that, okay? That's the custom of the heathen. Okay, we're supposed to keep hair in our head. Everybody understand that? All right. So we can cut our hair, right? But don't bald off your hair, right? Everybody understand that? All right, and cutting your beard off and balding off your face and all this stuff and all this type of stuff. That's not of the Most High. All right, Most High give you a beard. That's your beard, right? Can you shape it out? Can you fix it? Can you groom it? You can groom it, of course. We expect our men to be groomed, right? We're looking good like an Israelite should, right? Not looking all scraggly and crazy, but at the same time, right? Don't break the law of the Most High. Okay? Go within measure, within reason. Everybody understand that? Because we're not Rastafari saying we broke the scissor and the comb. No, we use the scissor and the comb, right? But in the right way. Right? The right way, not in the extreme. All right? Let's read on.
Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore,
right?
Lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness.
Right, because this thing went on. Her prostitute that daughter. Oh, get with him, he got money. Get with that guy, he got status. Right? Oh, try to get with him. I'm gonna bring it to my job. A lot of those men, they got good money. They make money. So all you're doing is pushing your daughter to marry a man because of how much money he got. That's wickedness. That's wickedness. What you're gonna do is prostitute your daughter, because what's gonna happen? You'll get with that man, right, for a while, then he's gonna move on. And then what? You should be looking to tell your children to what? Marry someone that knows the Most High, that understands the spirit of marriage and of longevity. Okay? That's willing to commit to a long-term relationship. Grow age together, as the scripture said. That kind of understanding has to be in that mind of that man that you give your daughter to. Anybody understand that? Read.
Ye shall keep my Sabbath and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahweh. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh, your power.
Right. No potions, Nothing say, oh, my man not listening to me. Could you give me a little something to get him to agree with me more? Right? could you mix up a little something for me? You know?
Something.
Just a little something, you know? No. That's wicked. No potions, no love potions, no mind control, anything of that stuff. That's all wicked, all of the devil, right? You know?
Thou shalt not rise up before the hoary head
Uh-huh.
and honor the face
Read
of
that
the.
again.
Thou shalt not rise up
Read it
before. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head.
Right.
Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head
Right?
and honor the face of the old man
Uh-huh.
and fear thy power. I am Yahweh.
Right. So the hoary head means what? Gray hairs. Right? Whoever got gray hairs, you should rise up and show him respect, show him honor. Right? I'm not trying to say anything, but you know what I'm saying? All right. So that show him honor that got gray hairs, man, an aged man. All right. So we honor our elders. We respect our elders in Israel. Huh? You know?
And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, he shall not vex him.
Mm-hmm.
But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you.
Right. So people take that out of context. They go running with that. It doesn't make them an Israelite. It means you should deal with them peaceably. Right? You shouldn't be vexing them. You shouldn't be picking fights with them that dwell among you. That's all it's saying. It doesn't say they automatically become an Israelite and then get salvation. No. They said they should be as one that was born in the land. They don't become one born, or as one born of Israel. They don't become an Israelite. They become a sojourner. Right?
I'm sorry, I just like to, was talking about the cutting with the hair.
Right.
My son has dread, and we kind of want to get some clarification on it because I know about the story of Samson and how that happened. But then again, it says that a man should not have long hair. So
Right.
I want to take some knowledge back to him.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, the scriptures say that, you know, it's all about what's lawful, what we can do. Okay? If your son has dreads and he wishes to have that, there's no law saying you can't have dreads, right? We are advised that we groom ourselves. So I'm not sure how his dreads are, if they groom, not groom, whatever the case may be. But, you know, I know a lot of the young boys down here, they get dreads. It's not groomed, right? It's not being taken care of. It's not clean, right? That's unlawful, right? That needs to be taken off or cut out. Or they can cut their hair. Nothing wrong with you cutting your hair, all right? There's no power given to you by having long hair. That's in the imagination of man. You know what I'm saying? That's in other religions tell them that. You know, Rastafarianism, you know, that your hair on here is going to touch the earth. All kind of stuff they make up, right? Earth scriptures don't say nothing about that. Number one. Okay. If a brother have dreads, we actually do take care of them. You know what I mean? You clean them, you wash them, you make sure that they are, you know, they're you know, to the best ability, you know, clean and cleanse. Because as children of the Most High, we got to be clean. All right. Samson had long hair, but it wasn't dreads. All right. That's a misinterpretation. The hair locking, that his hair was locked, were actually braids. His hair was locked into these braids. Right.
That's where they had 7
Right. Right. 7 locks. I mean, the hair was locked together in that braided fashion. You know what I mean? Not necessarily saying that they were dreads. You know what I mean? Dreads is a custom that, you know, when you go historically, points more to Hamitic nations, the dreading of hair. Doesn't really point towards our people. We don't have historical references for dreads amongst Israel. Okay? But I'm not saying we didn't have them, we just don't have historical records showing that. All right, so we don't push it, but at the same time, we don't disallow it because we don't know. It's a little bit about knowing, you know, if we had dreads, you know, or not, you know. But, you know, so for your son, you know, as long as he's not like, you know, cutting or, you know, he got dreads, so does he shape up the size and all that kind of stuff? You know?
He's not a nappy dread.
Uh-huh.
Like I do his hair. So
Okay.
they stay.
So you keep care for it, you keep it, clean and all that kind of thing. So then you can have them, That's all I say on it. I mean, I know times past they used to speak against it, but we don't, okay?
Solomon.
Say it loud, I'm sorry.
Solomon said he had bushy locks, black as a raven.
Solomon?
Yes, Solomon.
Right. So the understanding is what locks? What are locks? We automatically say, okay, it's dreadlocks. But the braiding of hair is what are you doing with the hair when you braid the hair? What are you doing with it? You're doing what? You're locking them. When you braid your hair, you're locking the hair together, right or wrong, right? You can loose it. The idea that it cannot, the word lock, I guess people say, well, must be a way that it can't be loose, but a lock can be open and closed, right? Right? So if we're locking the hair, it doesn't necessarily mean that it cannot be open. When you dread your hair, you can't unlock that. That's going to be that way. You know what I mean? So I had dreads, in my years in the street, right? You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't imagine the scene like that. But I had them all the way down to my, down to my neck, right? But the understanding is, okay, I couldn't keep up with them and maintain them to me a suitable way. So I cut them off. You know what I mean? Because it has to be clean, it has to be presentable, or it's not of the Most High. So his bushy locks, or the case would be, what verse is that anyway? You got a verse.
I got Lamentations 5:11.
Lamentations 5:11. See that? Right? We don't know if that was
Oh, my bad. Song of Solomon.
Song of Solomon 5:11. Right? But we know that Yahushua had the woolly hair. You know what I mean? We can look at our old artifacts and our old icons and see that we had froze, right? But we don't see long flowing dreads, in our history. Okay?
I'm sorry, if you can break down, where it's, numbered 6 and 5.
All right, so right now we're going to read, give me,
Solomon 5:11.
Psalm 5:11, and then we're going to do Numbers 6 and 5.
His head is as the most fine gold.
Right.
His locks are bushy and black as a raven.
Right. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But it has my Bible has for bushy, it has it says curly.
I was gonna say, you see how some brothers you having braids and then it start popping out,
Yeah.
it's not looking bushy.
It says curly.
Yeah.
right.
What was the scripture again, please?
Song of Solomon 5:11.
5:11. Okay. And like I said, it doesn't really tell us what the locks were like. That's why we cannot necessarily say that you can't have dreads. We don't push that. Some brothers, some schools, you can't have dreads and blah blah blah. Listen, it's not clear. So if the hair is, law is clear, it's straightforward. Commandments is straightforward and clear. All right? Okay.
I remember the Khan saying it years ago. It was in Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians 5:22. Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Right. Yeah.
I say it all the time. So if it looks evil, still.
Yeah. And that's what we go when we talk about, almost balling your head, going all the way down to that 000, And you say, well, it's not bald, there's some here there. Right, well, abstain from all appearance of evil. Don't want to look like you bald.
But you know what? Now the dreadlocks thing is becoming a hairstyle. But when you're evolving into a Hebrew Israelite as a culture, right? You don't want somebody to come up to and address you as a Rastafari or a dreadlock. You don't want to be identified as an Israelite. Okay, so now, if no one knows about the ZZs or fringes, they're like, they don't know who you are. So certain appearances or certain things that, you send out by your parents may make somebody look at you as something else. I mean, you know that you're a Hebrew Israelite. But what about, like I say, like, I'll tell you the example when I ran to guy in the supermarket. Okay, the way I attire myself, it attracts a lot of people. So the thing is that you're supposed to be that light to the nation. So if you're coming across as a stereotype of something else, how are you being enlightened to that person? Because now they see you as what? As a dreadlocks. Then what they associate with dreadlocks? Getting high, smoking weed. Okay, so we don't want to be associated with those things. You understand? So as the minister brought out, we do know that we have laws of cleanliness. So if those locks, if they're not being cleansed, then that it may not be a violation of how it looks, but it may be a violation if it's not clean. Okay, so those are things that you have to look at. But if they're married together, and that growth is impossible that you're gonna say it's clean because it's married together. So I mean, you probably you're cleaning the outside of it, but what about what's inside? You know what I'm saying? So those are just things to think about. Also too, again, my main thing is that you want to be identified as a Hebrew. You don't want somebody to say you Rastafari, you dreadlocks, or you're associated with marijuana and stuff like that, because that's what people stereotype us in these societies. We want to, when they want to see what you want to be known as, what? As the children of light. Okay, as a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, so these are the things. So what was the other scripture?
Was it Deuteronomy 6:5? Numbers 6:5. Okay.
Going to the law of Nazareth.
Oh, the Nazarite law? Oh, okay.
Well, that's simple.
Yeah, we got that.
Now, is a Nazarite law, is that forever? Can you say you're going to be a Nazarite forever? The Nazarite vow is for a certain dispensation of time. Okay, so you have a vow.
Let's read it. It's very clear.
6:5.
Start
Number 6, verse 5. All the days.
Start with 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look up.
Or 2. Yeah.
Something more.
Yeah. Right.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite,
Right.
to separate themselves unto the Most High, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink.
Right. So when you do a Nazarite vow, you can't drink wine nor strong drink. You can't have alcohol. Read on.
Shall drink nor vinegar of wine, or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dry.
Right.
All the days of the separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk.
Right.
All the days of the vow of the separation, there shall no razor come upon his head.
Right.
Until the days be fulfilled.
Until what?
Until the days be fulfilled.
Right. So this Nazarite vow has a fulfillment day. It has a day where you no longer are a Nazarite. Right? Read on.
In which he separated himself unto the Most High.
Right.
He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of his head grow.
Right.
All the days that he separated himself unto the Most High, he shall come and no dead body.
Right.
He shall not make himself unclean for his father or for his mother.
Right. Even if his mother and father died, he can't go to their funeral because he's in a Nazarite vow. And if he went to the funeral, he'd be breaking the vow. Read on.
For his mother or his brother or for his sister when they die, because the consecration of his power is upon his head.
Right.
All the days of his separation, he is holy unto the Most High. And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he have defiled the head of his consecration,
right,
then he shall shave his head.
He shall do what?
Shave his head.
Read on.
In the day of his cleansing, On the 7th day shall he shave it.
Right?
And the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons to the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Right?
And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and make an atonement for him, for that he sinned by the dead, and shall hallow his head same day.
Right. So what happens? If that vow is to be broken, then the vow is off. And what does he do when he takes the vow off? He shaves his head. All right. So all that locks that he grew, you got to cut it off. Right? For the time that he was under the Nazarite vow. So Nazarite vow, either you're doing a whole vow, but any one of these things can defile the vow. Drinking alcohol, going to a funeral, ain't that making himself unclean? And the vow is off.
Eating moist grapes.
Mm-hmm. Moist grapes. Right? So the vow is very intense. Right? The vow is very intense. So none of us this day and age are taking Nazarite vows. You know what I mean? Some of us think we are. You check it out, we're not really, At least not in America, it's hard to do that. You know what I mean? Maybe some other land where you could just be away from everything. And you're up in the hills, you could take a Nazarite vow. But for how long? For how long are we going to take that vow? Without coming in contact with these things. So that's what the vow is. Is that clear? Or is it something else?
Well, you read it up until.
Maybe another question.
It goes up to the 13th verse.
Right.
It says, and this is the law of the Nazarite, when the days of the separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Right.
Okay. And, where it talks about the offering. Okay, jump down to 18 for possible time. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take the hair of his head of the separation and put it in the fire which is under the sacrifice of the peace offering.
Right.
And the priest shall take the silent shoulder of the ram and 1 unleavened cake out of the basket, and 1 unleavened wafer, and shall put them upon the hand of the Nazarite after the hair of his separation is shaven.
Right.
So you will read all the way down to that point, but at the end of that separation, he's to cut his locks and bring it as a sacrifice to the priest. So it's not like he's grows it forever and ever. It has a certain time that you say, okay, up to this date, then I'm going to grow it and I'm going to cut it. Cut it.
Samson and John the Baptist, are they for life? Are they locked for conquerors? They have they locked for for life, but it's for.
It says in that it doesn't say for life. Scripture.
So what? I think the more they made about.
From family report, Samson talking about.
We have but we would have to have a verse to know that it's for life. That's all I'm just saying. Yes, we understand that the mother made the vow for Samson, right? But we also reading that if the vow were to be broken by way of alcohol, right, or by way of uncleanness, by unclean body, that the vow will be over with, right? And what happens if the vow is over with? What would happen? What you got to do? That's what we just read. You got to say that.
What's the difference? Nazarite law and then like the Torah. What's the difference? What separates that?
Right, the Nazarite vow is a separation of. It's like you're trying to go to a higher holy level with the Most High, and you're supposed to separate yourself from normal things that everybody else can do. You can't do if you're a Nazarite. It's almost like becoming like how Moab have a monk where he goes into this seclusion. Period. That's why I said even when your mother and your father, your sister and brother die, you can't even go to the funeral. That's not normal because that's the funeral you're supposed to go to. You're supposed to go to the funeral of your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, right? But you can't do that when you're Nazarite vow. You got to stay away. So it's a seclusion that you do towards the Most High. Right.
Is it Nazarite law that, I know it's what we just read, but is it, if that person takes the vow, is that forever? If that's what they've in their hearts or it was in their spirit, that they want to take that vow forever, that's how they must live forever until death?
Well, according to scripture, that when you take that vow, it has to have a date of fulfillment. It has to have a date of fulfillment. At some point in time, I'm taking this vow for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But when that date is come up, it's fulfilled. So it's not an open-ended vow. It's a vow for a particular dispensation of time.
And then once they complete that fulfillment, then they've reached a certain high level.
Then they come to the priest. They shave their hair. They go through. They give a certain type
They
of.
must take that.
That's part of the ending of the vow. Part of the law. They give their sacrifice. They shave their hair. That hair is then put into the fire and burnt up to the Most High, right? And then they continue their life. You know what I mean? Having completed the Nazarite vow.
Just to go back to the brother bringing about John the Baptist, you got to understand that Israel's not going to go against something that's already set up. So we were reading about the Nazarite vow, meaning that there's the beginning and then there's a fulfillment of that. So even though it does not mention that when John the Baptist was his mother dedicated to the Most High, she would have the understanding that it is for a certain dispensation of time. Even though it did not say, okay, she dedicated him, but it's for 20 years. She has the, we're not going to get everything in scripture. We can't add and take away, because you just can't say because it didn't mention that it's forever. Because we're reading now in the book of Numbers where it tells you that in order for that vow to be completed, they have to shave their locks and bring it before the priest.
Oh, I thought it meant it broke the vow.
You still no, because when you go down to the 18th verse, this is if you complete. That was just telling you if you got defiled by a dead person, or if you ate the grapes. That was another way that you prematurely cut the vow, broke the vow.
Right.
But then when you go down to 18, this is if you fully completed your vow. You fully went through the longevity. If you say I'm gonna do it for 10, 5 years, 1 year, and you complete it, then it said that you shave your locks and then you brought it before the priest. You have to go through the necessary steps to bring before the priest, to do the sacrifice for it to be accepted before the Most High. It has to be that way to be accepted.
It said it right there in 13. When the days of his separation are fulfilled.
Right. Yeah, so that's the understanding of a Nazarite vow. So like I said, no one is doing Nazarite vows today. Okay, the reality of it is it's a hairstyle today. Dreads are a hairstyle. You know what I mean? Nobody's taking a Nazarite vow. We're not in a position to even administer such vows because the high priesthood is not even set up to administer the vow. All right, so we're not even in that world right now. You know what I mean? Most High blesses when we are back in that world, but we're not in that world right now. Right now, it's just a hairstyle. And if the hairstyle, if you choose to have it, you choose to have it. But if you choose to have it, keep it clean, keep it well groomed as best as you can, right? And, but understand that historically, we don't see it amongst Israel. You know what I mean? We read about bushy locks. It can be interpreted that way, right? But, the locking of hair is what happens when you bring 3 strands or 3 groups of the hair together. You're locking it together. So that could also be considered a lock. Okay? That could also be considered a lock. Even just a group of hairs is considered a lock. They're talking about Esau having a lock of hair from his head, and his hair don't dread like that. So it's kind of what word was used. All right, what word was used? We can look into the Hebrew and see what word was there.
I mean, I dealt with that a lot when I was dealing with Rastafari. Like, you can't talk about you a Rastafari or whatever, because it distinctly said what? The children of Israel. So you can't take this custom and add it to something else you're dealing with.
Right.
You understand? First of all, you have to be an Israelite to do this vow. You can't say, well, I'm Rastafari, talking about I'm praising Selassie, and you talking about the Nazarite vow. These things don't go together. Okay, so if you look at this thing precept upon precept, you can easily knock that doctrine out, whatever that philosophy, ideology they're dealing with. Because first of all, this was something that only an Israelite born could take this vow. Okay, you can't take this and you know people mix and match. I want to take this and add it to my religion and add this, add that, take away.
They took out the liquor and the grace, but they must.
Right.
Right. Right.
Like,
So
high-
does that bring any clarity on that? Okay. All right. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Leviticus.
Leviticus 19,
30,
35.
35.
You shall do no unrighteous judgment in met yard and weight or in measure.
Right. Don't try to get over on somebody. You know what I mean? If you're selling them a pound, let it be actually a pound. If you're selling them a foot of something, let it actually be 12 inches. Don't let it be 10 inches and you're selling it as a foot. All right? So we just talking about doing business with one another. Right? Read on.
Just balances, just weights, a just ephah,
Right?
a just hen shall ye have, I am Yahweh your power, which brought you in the land of Egypt.
Right.
Therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, I am Yahweh.
Right. So when it says a just balance, the word just means right. Exact. It's right. If it's going to be if you're saying it's this much, that's exactly how much it is. All right. Do not falsify the balance and try to get over on each other. All right.
28th verse. And the Most High spake unto
20th
Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel,
Right.
whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech,
Right.
he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones.
Right.
And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given of his seed unto Molech, to defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name.
Come on.
And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not,
Right.
then I will set my face against that man, and against his family, and will cut him off. And all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people.
Right. Come on.
And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and
Right.
after wizards, to go a whoring after them, I will even set my soul, and will cut him off from among his
So
people.
all this is talking about worshiping other gods, letting thy seed go through the Molech, right? Let him go through a horn with this Molech. Molech is a false god. Okay, it's deity. All right. They'll have their seed pass through Molech. They'll have them learn of their ways. Our seeds, our children, are supposed to learn of what? The Most High Yah. Okay, not of no other God. Right, read on.
Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I, Yahweh, your power, and holy.
What does it mean to sanctify? Separate. Separate yourselves. So you understand that Molech was what was society? It's society, one of society's demons, one of their traditions, right? But he said, don't let your child go through that. Don't let them be part of that. All right, read on.
Sanctify yourself, therefore, and be ye holy, for I, Yahweh, your power. And ye shall keep my statutes and do them. I am Yahweh, will sanctify you.
Come on.
For everyone that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
Right.
He have cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him.
Right. So we can see children cussing their parent out. That's a crime punishable by death, man. Okay. We're not to argue, curse, and rail on our parents. Okay. We see little white children in the supermarket, say, hell with you, mom. Yeah. You know, you
Bite me.
bite me. And we read, our hearts drop. Right? We get scared for them. Right? And nothing will happen. Oh, just cut it out, Jonathan. Just cut it out.
No video games tonight.
Right? Stop being mean. Right? And Jonathan is cussing his parent out. We ain't do that. Right? That's not amongst our people. But you know what? Our people learn their works. So now our children doing it. You seeing the mother and daughter going toe to toe, ready to, what's that, World Star? Ready to box it out. Like they two people, strangers in the street. And they both swinging, cussing each other out, calling to all kind of B's and O's and all kind of stuff. A mother and daughter, right? Constant, and this is something that's constant in our, in our communities. Constant. It's not something that's a shocker anymore, right? That's how far we left out of order, right? Mother and daughter wailing on each other, cussing each other out in the supermarket. It's ridiculous, right? It's embarrassing, but that's how far we fell, right? Read.
And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife,
Right.
even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Right, you both are guilty. The adulterer and the adulteress. You can't say she guilty. I'm not guilty. She's the one that's married. No, you're guilty of not looking out for your brother. So you guilty too. Takes two to tango, right? So it's both of them that are guilty. Read on.
And the man that lied with his father's wife have uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Come on.
And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them.
Read.
If a man also lie with mankind as he lied with a womankind, both of them have committed an abomination.
Right.
They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Right. That's what they should get. Death. All right. Homosexuality. Read on.
And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you.
Right. So what? A mother and daughter can't decide that they're going to take the same husband. All right. Because they both, all three of them won't get the fire. Okay? Read on.
And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and he shall slay the beast.
Even the beast gonna get it. Because the Most High say that beast is defiled. You want to eat that beast after that madness? Nah, that beast is no good. That beast got to go too. All right, read on.
And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Come on.
And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He have uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity.
Right.
And if a man lie with a woman having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness, he have discovered her fountain, and she have uncovered the fountain of her blood. And both of them shall be cut off from among their people.
Right. Going back into what? A man lying with a woman that's on her cycle. As I said, that's punishable like that. That's wicked. All right. Read on.
And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, nor of thy father's sister, for he uncovered his near kin. They shall bear their iniquity.
That's talking about their aunts. Right. Read on.
And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, and have uncovered his uncle's nakedness, they shall bear their sin, they shall die childless.
Wow. Right. Moses said he's going to let that womb, he'll shut that womb up for that madness. All right. Read on.
And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He have uncovered his brother's nakedness, they shall be childless. He shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out.
Right.
And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them.
I what?
Abhorred them.
Right. Moses said, I hate these nations. Right? Abhor means to hate. because they were so wicked. They did all these things. I hate them, man. That's why I said, you're not going to be like that. Most High don't give a damn about these nations. We keep telling the people that they don't want to hear that. The Most High do not care about these nations. Right? He said all of them is like a drop from a bucket. All right, read on.
But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit the land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am Yahweh your power, which have separated you from other people.
Right here, so what?
Have separated you from other people.
Most High has separated us from other people. Right? So when we teach separation, we teach the Most High, because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted us to be separate from these other nations. You understand that? Read on.
Ye shall therefore put difference between the clean beast and unclean,
right,
and between unclean fowls and clean. And ye shall not make your souls abominable by beast, or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated you as unclean. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. A man also or woman that have a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them.
Right. Hallelujah. All right, so familiar spirits, again, going into people that, dealing with psychics and obia and all that stuff. We don't deal with that stuff, right? So that ends the portion for the Shabbat. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Right, a lot of information. Leviticus, the 19th chapter, 18th and 20th chapter has a lot of laws. I want you to continue to read it, continue to study it, get it in your spirit so that you know it. All right, and then you understand every precept. If you have questions about any precept, definitely let us know, ask us, and we will give you those understandings throughout the weeks. But all praises be to the power and mercy and taking for his mercy endure forever. At this time, I will say, Imagine will put in Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem for the closing prayer. Hallelujah. 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 Who's the power? Who's the power? By Hashem? By Hashem? Kuras, kuras, kuras. Kuras, kuras, kuras. Holy, holy, holy. Is the name. Abanawa. Yahweh. Holy, holy, holy. Is the name. Mashiach. Yahushai. Come Abanawa Yahweh. Come Abanawa Yahweh. Come Mashiach Yahushai. Come Mashiach Yahushai. Come Yasharala. Come Yasharala. Barakatah Yahweh. Bahashem. Mashiach. Yahushai. Bahaba'ah. Delanawa. HaShabbat. Bashalom. Abakushah. Shemai. Zachariah. Barak. Barapah. Wakazak. Wamagun. Washma'ayah. Akia. Wa. Akwatya. Babakushah. Yahweh. Bahashem. Hamashiach. Yahushai. Yachak. Shaitan. Yachak. Shaitan. Yachak. Ko. Rai. B'chayim. Yachak. Ko. Rai. B'chayim. Babakushah. 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 All praises be to the power and majesty and take the power of Israel. We thank Yahweh for keeping us to Shabbat day. We thank Yahweh for having mercy upon us in these last days by bringing our heritage back onto us and bringing into remembrance all thy laws, statutes, and commandments, that we might learn of thee and walk in thy ways and be fortified with thy truth and be built up in thy spirit. For we know thy word is thy spirit. Baruch Yahweh, continue to use the Lada Zion to bring Yaakov again to thee. Continue to use us amongst thy armies to bring down our captors and our oppressors in this time. That we bring forth that our kingdom come quickly, I thought, and Israel be saved. For that is our earnest prayer, and that is our highest desire, that the children of Israel shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. All this we ask in the name of thy Son, Hamashiach Yahweh. Let all that have breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Let all that have breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Bahashem Hamashiach Yahweh. Dualatim Yad. Amen. In the Most High hand. Hallelujah. What? Psalm 67. It's like Psalm 67. You're correct. We got to sing the count. What day we're in?
28th day.
28th day. Psalm 67. What is the count? The count is the count of the Omer. We're in the time bringing us to the Feast of Weeks. So we're into 28 days. What day is the Feast of Weeks? How many days? The 50th day. We're in the 28th day. So the feast is coming up quickly upon us. And every day we observe the day and we set up the prayer of that day, which is Psalms 67. And it reads, Yahweh be merciful unto us and bless us and cause his face to shine upon us, Selah, that thy way may be known upon earth, thy saving health among all nations. Let the people praise thee, O Yahweh. Let the people praise thee. Oh, let the nations be glad and sing for joy. For thou shalt judge the people righteously and govern the nations upon the earth. Selah. Let the people praise thee, O Yahweh. Let all the people praise thee. Then shall the earth yield her increase, and Yahweh, even our power, shall bless us. Yahweh shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him. Today is the 28th day, the third Shabbat, no, the fourth Shabbat, Klakia, of the Omer. Praise be to Yahweh. Hallelujah. 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 All right, all praises. All right, the Most High hand. There's no power like Yahweh, great King of the universe, always doing wondrous things. Let all Israel sing it. Sing amen. Y'all sound tired. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. From the top, here we go. There's no power, great King of the universe, always doing wondrous things, and all Israel singing. Sing amen. 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 Hallelujah. 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 Real, real, real.